Well, Shoaib Akhtar in the news for the wrong reason. A lot of people, especially in the Indian media, feel that there's something questionable about his bowling action. And they say hyperextension is, the experts believe it's more the hyperextension than anything. Let's try and understand this concept of hyperextension. Who better than one of the greatest fast bowlers, Michael Holding, to actually explain to all of us what hyperextension is all about.
Sanjay, the fourth morning of the final test, we woke up to see a bit of news in the newspaper that Greg Chappell was questioning perhaps the legality of Shoaib Akhtar's action. He says it doesn't look quite right. We know about hyperextension. That is the reason that people say that Shoaib Akhtar's action isn't quite right. If you look what hyperextension is, have a look at Shoaib Akhtar here. You can see that he definitely has an arm there that doesn't look like most people's arms. Hyperextension is when that arm can go beyond 180 degrees. A straight line is supposed to be 180 degrees. That is obvious to me that his arm can go beyond 180 degrees. Look at that. That means perhaps 190 degrees, which is unusual for any human being. Hyperextension is definitely there for Shoaib Akhtar. And when he bowls, that hyperextension, they say, is what makes it seem as if he's awkward. But he's not the only bowler that has hyperextension in that bowling arm. There's a fellow who played in this very same game, R.P. Singh, who has hyperextension as well. And we can show you that on his bowling. Have a look at R.P. Singh here with his actual bowling arm, the left arm. Look at that point there. That is beyond 180 degrees. Obviously, there's hyperextension in the elbow, and from the elbow to the wrist is beyond 180 degrees. And he bowls through naturally. You can see that obviously from side on. If you have a look at Shoaib Akhtar, he also can be seen in his bowling action with the hyperextension. As he goes through, you can see from the elbow to the wrist is behind from the shoulder to the elbow. There's a hyperextension. Now if we take a different angle to these two gentlemen, have a look at R.P. Singh again, bowling now front on. You'll see a different angle. Have a look at R.P. Singh as he comes through. Look at that front bowling arm again. You don't see the hyperextension from front on. It's impossible on a flat screen. But the elbow to the wrist to the shoulder looks as straight as you possibly can get it. Slightly different though with Shoaib Akhtar. Shoaib Akhtar front on. Look at the elbow, shoulder, wrist. You can definitely see that's not a straight line. There's a definite kink there. Shoulder, elbow, wrist. Now that is what Greg Chappell is saying that looks a little bit awkward. So there definitely is hyperextension, and hyperextension as we can see in both gentlemen. But the law says once your shoulder, your right arm gets to shoulder height rather, the elbow, wrist, shoulder should be as straight a line as you possibly can get it, and there should be no straightening from that point. Greg Chappell is picking that up, and Greg Chappell is saying he's not absolutely sure that is the correct way to be bowling. As he said, he wouldn't recommend anyone to be bowling like that. And perhaps that's the reason why he's unhappy.
Very interesting. I think the final bit, which is about the shoulder and the elbow and the wrist being in a straight line, which is the case with R.P. Singh, not so much the case with Shoaib Akhtar. But we are always learning new things because the television cameras are just showing us new pictures which the naked eye were not seeing before.
Well, Greg's entitled to his view, like many ex-players and players, and all they've got to do is go through the proper channels, haven't they? That's all. Make the report it quietly, privately. Has anybody done that? It's better than saying it publicly.
But it's the only thing that a cricketer can do, isn't it? Because now the technology can prove you wrong with some of the evidence that they can provide. So all you can say, it doesn't look right, this looks good. But I think all this will hold good if India make this an official protest. And as far as we know, that hasn't yet happened.
It's better to do it, though, at the start of a series, not when you've lost a match. You know, if it's coming out yesterday that they have some sort of reservation, fine, nothing wrong with that, they're entitled to. Just keep it quiet and do it privately. But Shoaib's been bowling in 2 previous test matches and there have been draws. I've never been a great fan of making, shall we say, a complaint, even doing it properly, when you've lost, because it looks a little bit like sour grapes, doesn't it? I'd sooner them do it, you know, in the first 2 test matches with a draw, do it privately, and then it's there on record before you lost, and it always looks better to me, because I don't think Shoaib's bowling any differently than he did in the first two tests.
The proper channel, and I wonder whether Greg Chappell's mentioning is going to make any difference, because the proper channel is the umpires have to first make the report. If they suspect a bowling action is illegal, they make the report to the match referee, and then the match referee takes it forward, and then the whole procedure starts. There's been no complaint, no report as far as we know from the umpires. It's just Greg Chappell saying something is not right, and Michael Holding just giving us complete knowledge about the bowling actions there and with hyperextension.
That's exactly right. I mean, but I'm with Jeffrey that when you lose, you don't say these things. You say it when you win. You know, I would complain when I'm a winner. I'm thinking, okay, I'll win this series, win the match, but I have problems. But now, because you've lost it and you're just moaning about it, that's not right.
But do you want to talk anything about the action, or you would rather not?
Well, I would rather not, because biomechanics, which I still don't really understand what exactly it is, because I don't really have the knowledge of it. And it's good that what Michael Holder explained, and if the referees or the coaches sees it, and if they think that there's a problem, they can do something about it. But I think Indians should have done it from the very first day they arrived here, if they have to do it.
Yep.
I was doing commentary, TV commentary in England, when Muralitharan was bowled England out at the Oval a few years ago. Jayasuriya got a fantastic double 100. And David Lloyd, who was then the England coach, said something at tea time about Muralitharan's action. Well, he was bowling it out. I think he got 9 wickets. And I said then, this is the wrong time. They've played test matches before that and drawn. I said, you've said nothing. It just doesn't look right to say when you lose it. And I say whether it's in England, or it's an England coach, or whether it's, you know, an Australian who's coaching Australia. There's a right procedure, and it just doesn't look right, never does, when you lose it.
Yeah, I'm just not sure where this is going to go, because the umpires haven't filed any report with the match referee as far as we know, so we don't know where this is going. Well, let's end on a good note.
Can't a coach report it on his own, privately?
I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure. I think the umpires have to first find out whether there's anything suspicious. I'm not sure. To be very honest, we'll have to find out whether the coach on his own can file a report with the match referee or ICC, and then ICC then responds to the coach. I'm not sure whether that can happen.